And then there's the Pac-12, where the governor of our state out here in California, Gavin Newsom, is just like, don't look at me. If the Pac-12 is saying that health rules are preventing a couple of states, and certainly the state of California, from restarting. So if Gavin Newsom's saying no, is it Los Angeles that's basically telling USC that they can't go? I mean, what is going on with the Pac-12 right now is, I guess, the big question.
Yeah, it was government ordinances that were really, putting up the roadblock at that point. But, we did a big story on The Athletic that went up yesterday afternoon. There are a lot of coaches in the league who feel strongly that the Pac-12 is not going to be ready to play as fast as some people in the Pac-12 leadership want them out there. And it has more to do with, look, there's a difference between being in cardio shape and actually being in football shape. And if we're going to preach how safety and the wellness of our student athletes is the number one priority, and our guys are not ready to play football where they're going to be risked all sorts of soft tissue injuries and other kinds of things like that, then we're doing a disservice to them. And I would encourage people to look at that story at The Athletic, because some of the quotes from some of those coaches are eye-popping about basically the Pac-12 having its head up the Big Ten's you-know-what. I mean, and the language is colorful, and there's a lot of people there are coaches in the conference who are really frustrated with how all this has been handled, and the perception that it's just being shoved down their throats right now, probably faster than it's probably in the players' best interest.
Man, I guess, again, COVID in every walk of life just finds the weakness and places immense pressure upon it, and then reveals a lot of the fault lines. There's no doubt about it. And, the Pac-12 may be feeling pressure to have to go, because if they don't go and everyone else goes, I mean, the Pac-12 could be irreparably harmed for years to come in terms of kids not going there or anything like that. Whether that's fair or not, that does appear to be the pressure that's upon that conference. Bruce, would you not agree?
Yeah, I feel like that's probably a little overblown to think it. Everything happens so fast in this day and age, and people move on. The difference between let's say if the Pac-12 starts on November 7th, which is the coaches I talked to yesterday thought, except for one thought it was too soon for this, but thought November 15th was something was workable. They could get to be ready at that point. The idea that they could play in October, the coaches I talked to thought it was not realistic and it wasn't smart. Now, the difference between them playing a 6-game schedule versus a 5-game schedule, if recruits are going to hold that one game or that perception against them, where they're not going to choose those schools and they're going to go to other conferences, I don't know. That doesn't kind of pass the smell test to me. I mean, that's just an opinion, but I don't know if I would go that far. But I think at this point, it feels a lot like, again, from my reporting, that it's just like the Pac-12 a lot of times just can't get out of its own way when it comes to some of this stuff. And it just kind of, the leadership of the conference seems to shoot itself in the foot almost at every critical turn.